Hey, this is OJ with Byzantine, and you're watching CMS TV.
It's Motley Crue right here on your classic metal show featuring John Corabi on lead vocal with Smoke the Sky, Kim. And John Corabi's got the right idea. He isn't smoking what you're smoking over there.
Maybe you should be.
Right. Well, anyway, Kim, this week over at Yahoo Music, one of their writers in their infinite wisdom decided to publish an article over there that basically talks about the worst heavy metal albums of all time.
Well, when I think of music experts, I think of Yahoo.
Right. They're the worst. But anyway, looking at this article here, I thought I'd read down through here and get your thoughts on this because I know you definitely have an opinion because I couldn't keep you from spurting out your thoughts before we got back into the break here.
Don't say spurting. Your demon's going to get excited.
I know, but I like it when you girls get stuck to the sofa and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty hot. So anyway, let's get into this real quick.
Alrighty.
Coming in at number one, I guess this is number. I don't know if they do this. I guess it's number one. Kiss, Music from the Elder.
Wow. I can say that I have never owned that album. So.
All right. There comes a time in every young man's life where he must confront the fact that some bands aren't meant to evolve because when they do, they're worse. New drummer Eric Carr showed up just in time to be part of the worst album in the Kiss catalog.
Oh.
It's a concept album based on the idea from the man who would put his name on anything if it generated a buck, that is Gene Simmons.
It all comes back to Gene, doesn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, a lot of people say that Music from the Elder is the worst, but I understand that Carnival of Souls is right up there too.
Yeah, that I can definitely say I've heard some of, and
right.
I give it a pass.
Right. So the question is Music from the Elder, Carnival of Souls, which one ranks as the worst Kiss album ever?
Well, I'm personally going to go with Carnival of Souls just because I don't, I never owned. Well, I didn't own Carnival of Souls either, but I probably just heard more of it than I heard of the Elders album. But yeah, I definitely go Carnival of Souls.
All right, so this guy might be a little off base. Coming in at number two, Def Leppard Slang.
Oof.
I remember when this came out, and I remember hearing it for the first time, and I was just like, holy shit. Yes. And this all came in about the same time as when Warrant did Belly to Belly, yeah. And Dokken did Shadow Life, and who else did an album right in that same time period? They were trying to capture the moment of what was going on that was popular, and it was just like, holy shit, what is this?
Yeah, I remembered hearing it, and it was just I did the same thing. I just kind of was like, what the fuck is this?
Right.
And it was just like I guess, like I said, like you said, they were maybe trying to be more in the moment and trying to be, more
current.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to, be more current, and they just, it sounded like a cat under a rocking chair. It was
right.
I was awful.
The 1980s were over just as big hair looked kind of dumb and dated while everyone was flying the flannel. So too did big, super precise production sound ill-fitted for the new decade when everyone whined. So after Adrenalize sounded tired, Def Leppard went back to basics. Even drummer Rick Allen used an acoustic kit. But no one buys Def Leppard albums for the natural tone. metal dudes buy them because their girlfriends like them.
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of reminded me of, your high school counselor trying to be hip.
Yeah.
And talk your lingo and,
Sure.
talk about smoking the pot.
Right.
And, just trying to use the terminology of the day and just not quite hitting the mark.
Sure. Drugs are bad, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And their girlfriends miss the grand productions like they secretly miss their big hair.
Yeah.
But be who you are.
Yeah, well, I'll let you in on a little secret. Chicks dig rock songs about chicks. When you sing about us being hot and sexy and,
right.
and stuff like that, we buy tickets to your shows.
Sure, absolutely. I even did a bumper, or well, actually, it became a bumper. I wasn't even aware that I was given a little commentary, but it became a bumper. And actually, I talk about that as far as my philosophy of doing the classic metal show, from the very beginning. I'm trying to find it here. Let's see here. Here we go. I feel bad. You don't know what it's like to go out and get an old hot rod that has 7 years old. No problem. That motor had dual exhaust on it. Very long glass pack. Jacked up with high jack, breaker control, wide switch on it. They wouldn't know how to fix up the car. Worried about little four bangers, round the bed, stuff like that. Cabin control. They don't even know what the sound of a high-powered muscle car would like. Nothing about them. Honda Accord with a plastic spoiler on the back. That's the spirit of the classic metal. They're gonna let 'em bring it to rock and roll, fast cars, high tech. Back when things mattered. Just like that, Kim. Back when
Nice.
things mattered.
Nice. That was music to my ears. That was beautiful.
Right. All right. So anyway, this reviewer's thought process here: purchase instead high and dry and a case of Aquanet hairspray.
I was actually presented at my 20-year high school reunion. I was actually presented with a case of Aquanet hairspray.
Aquanet pink.
Yeah, the white, the pink and white, extra
Right.
extra super hold.
Sure.
That was what I was evidently remembered for most in my illustrious high school career.
Right. All right. The next one, something we just played from Motley Crue.
Unreal. I take very personal offense to this one. I actually loved that album.
Sure.
I thought it was amazing. I loved it so much I actually bought it twice because I lost it. I bought it and I lost it and I went back and bought it again. And I think I'm one of about a dozen people on the planet that actually bought the EP Quaternary as well.
Sure.
So I thought it was a great album. I guess people, I don't know if they just and Crew is my favorite band. So I mean, you're in my zone right now.
Right.
So yeah, I actually thought it was a great album, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that would disagree with me, but I loved it.
Sure. Motley Crue. Along those lines, who buys a Motley Crue album for John Corabi?
I did.
At least the band didn't waste any good songs on their new singer.
Wow.
What kind of world is it where you wish Vince Neil would come back?
But a lot of people did. A lot of people thought that it was nonsense. That they thought that it had too much of Tommy's very into kind of the electronic music, and they thought it had that too much of that influence. But I mean, John Corabi in his own right is just amazingly talented, and unfortunately, I think he was doomed from the beginning. I don't think there was ever going to be a second John Corabi Motley Crue album.
Right.
But I actually, I'm one of the few people that actually dug it, and I'm totally, I'm horribly stuck in the 80s, and I'm super, super resistant to change, and that was a very different sound. But unlike Def Leppard and Slang, I thought it was a sound that they pulled off, and I enjoyed it.
Right. Somebody by the name of Richard in the comments sections, having this album on such a list is beyond a joke. Least successful, largely overlooked. Maybe I can buy those categories for this album, but worst? It's not even worst album in the Motley Crue catalog. Have you ever heard Generation Swine?
Yeah, I was actually gonna say if you had to put one up from Crue, Generation Swine would definitely be the one.
Have you heard New Tattoo?
Oh,
awful.
Yeah, that's they had a kind of a string there in the late 90s that it just jumped the shark.
So let's see here. I'm looking at some of the comments here.
And that was when Vince came back.
Right. I was actually one of the few that liked John Corabi because he gave the band depth. First of all, he was a lyricist, which meant Nikki Sixx didn't have to do all the writing. And second, he was a guitar player, so Mick Mars didn't have to do all the work.
Yeah. Nikki had to share that money, too. Had to share those royalties.
Sure. That was the hardest Crue ever sounded. Not a bad album, just different from their stuff with Vince.
Exactly. So, like I said, I think it was probably doomed from the get-go, but I am one fan that truly enjoyed it and completely disagree with this jackass.
Right. All right. The next one is Black Sabbath, Never Say Die.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't really think of too much Sabbath that I don't like. I don't know if I'm brainwashed and biased, but I can't really think of a bad Sabbath song in my opinion off the top of my head. But maybe I don't know them all either. I don't have the knowledge that you and Chris have.
Right.
I'm sure Chris would probably sit here and rattle off 7 songs and
Excellent. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Good day, that are you, motherfuckers?
Hello, Mr. Tom. How are you, sir?
Hi, Tom.
Not too bad, living the dream.
Well, I'm glad to know that you're living at least.
They can't keep a bastard like me down.
Yeah, that's what you
Like
said.
I told you before, the devil don't want me and God ain't having nothing to do with me.
Sure, but we like you here on the Classic Metal Show, Tom. So what's going on in your world?
Not much. Just getting pinned up like normal.
Well,
I tuned in a little late tonight. I don't hear Mr. Aiken on the line.
no, he's
Here's
out there.
Kim, though.
Yeah, he's out there chasing around with his friend John at his bachelor party tonight. So
Yeah. I've already seen pictures of Jordan. That motherfucker's laid the fuck out.
so Kim so graciously decided to make the hour-and-a-half drive so she could sit in for Chris.
And I'm trying really hard,
That
but
makes
I know those are
Where's it there?
those are huge. Those are big shoes to fill. So I'm trying. I'm having fun though.
Chris does have big shoes. When you're a big man, you have big shoes.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Well, what's going on, Tom? What's
going on? Just getting pinned drunk. That's what I do.
You're just getting drunk.
Contact don't stop a motherfucker like me.
Right. Well, make sure you have plenty of smokes to go along with those drinks.
I've cut it way back from 2 packs a day down to about 3/4.
Wow, look at you. That is a big drop.
I just can't smoke them anymore.
Right.
A choke, a cough, a gag, a puke.
Wow. Not good, Tom.
Yeah, that's it. we're retraining the body to take the pollutants.
Right. Well, I'd like to know that you're going to be around a little bit longer, Tom, so why don't you take care of yourself?
Yes, please.
Ah, fuck. They can't they can't kill me. I'm a Saskatchewan superstar. They'll never be able to help me.
Sure.
I know it sounds a little conceited, but fuck them if they can't take a joke, right, Nick Neely?
I agree with you, Tom.
There ain't much that I can handle. Fuck, it's just a heart attack. Literally, I was out of the hospital 2 days later. Fuck them.
Right.
Supposed to go every 4 or 5 days for a little checkup, but fuck them too. They're just putting another little balloon in my heart, and I'll be good to go again.
Right. You're like the bionic man.
Yeah, he's like the Saskatchewan Terminator.
They just can't kill a shitheel like me. They've tried and they've tried. They locked me up with a bunch of fucking rapists and this shit. I just fucking raped their bums instead.
Right.
You can't kill me.
Sure.
I'll always make the best of a bad situation.
Sure. Well, Tom.
I even got my Scottish brothers for fucking bringing me food. What's you bringing me, brother? Oh, dirty pickles.
Dirty pickles?
What? Wait, what?
Oh, these spicy fucking pickles. They're horrible.
Yeah, it doesn't sound real appetizing.
Pretty good. What?
Well,
now when I'm trying to talk on the phone, though, now I'm drooling. I got a bitch to spit on.
Well, are you enjoying the show with Kim sitting in Chris's spot?
I tuned in late, but it sounded pretty good.
All right. Well, good.
Good. Thank you very much.
Kim's doing a good job. She's got an opinion at least.
Yep.
Yes, she does.
I'm a woman. Of course I have an opinion on everything.
That's right. Women, they know. Even when they don't know, they know. And even when men don't know, the women know, and that's why they know.
Exactly.
Well, Tom, since I have you on the phone and since you're an expert on women, what was your take on that Ray Rice incident where he punched his wife out? What do you think of that? What's your take on that?
Well, I honestly don't care. Obviously, she didn't care either. She's still with him, and she's the one blowing up the media now. It really didn't matter. She figures that everybody fucked her over. She was just there for the money, so if you're there for the money, you're bound to take some knuckles in the teeth. It's just the name of the game.
Right. That's what I said earlier today, Tom.
Oh, no, I didn't have to hit her in the teeth. She still puts up with all my bullshit.
Right.
But when you make that kind of money, you're bound to have to walk the ropes.
Right. Well, it all comes down to money, right, Tom?
That's just it. That's the name of the game.
Exactly. Well, that's the theme of the show tonight, Tom. Money. Money is everything.
Well, then you need to play Pink Floyd on for me.
I'll either play that or I'll play the Bullet Boys for the love of money.
Nah, Pink Floyd money. Dun, 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 dun. Bring.
Right.
I know it ain't really metal, but fuck all Pink Floyd. You can't go wrong with some Floyd.
Exactly.
That motherfucker's been doing more drugs and more dope and more smoking and more drinking, the two of them, since we've even been a thought in our mummy's fucking panties.
Sure. Well, Tom, you're always very eloquent in your delivery.
Wow, old Gilmore and Waters, they've got more girls wet than the average group.
Sure, that's true.
They got more style, more pizzazz than your average metal band.
Sure, and they got a lot of money too.
Wow, and that hence the swung money.
Exactly.
That's just right.
All right, Tom. Well, we're going to get back to these top 10 worst albums.
Worst albums? Well, there better be a Poison album in that worst bullshit. That's the gayest bag bullshit I ever did fucking hear.
Well, if there's not one in the list, we're going to throw one in there.
There should be a Poison and at least a Warren. Besides Cherry Pie, the rest of the whole garbage was fucking luck-licking balls.
Exactly.
Tell us how you really
Fucking
feel.
bag band.
Right. All right, Tom. Well, we're gonna get back to it.
Oh yeah, that brother.
All right.
Fucking Hail and kill, Blue Job.
And there goes Tom.
There he goes. Good to hear from him.
This is Tom the Scott, and you're listening live to the Classic Metal Show, where metal is metal and harder than steel, even if we have to steal a little bit. Blue Job.
Classic metal skill.
And there's Tom.
Nice.
All right. Well, anyway, according to this author, Black Sabbath Never Say Die, I remember how much people hated Ronnie James Dio when he first joined up with the Black Sabbath. It was considered sacrilege. Who would dare take Ozzy's place in this great band? But then you listen to their last album together and you realize that it was probably a good idea that these guys start seeing less of each other. Supposedly, there already were, which is why this album sounds like no one wanted to finish it.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess it's the same thing. It's the backlash of, the front man being, the front man leaving the band or being asked to leave the band, and there's a new person plugged in, regardless of how talented they are. There's automatically going to be some people that are like, nope, not even giving it a chance.
Our good friend Jackal in the chat room, he's a purist. He's all about the Ace Frehley and Peter Criss being part of the Kiss lineup. He hates Tommy Thayer, but yet he's a little less tolerant, or a little more tolerant of the lineup changes in Judas Priest, which KK Downing has left Judas Priest, and they don't have their original drummer anymore, and he doesn't have a problem with that. So it just depends. I mean, somewhere along the way for one of my favorite bands, Dokken.
Yeah.
It's not Dokken without George Lynch, right?
Yeah.
Hey, it's been 5 minutes, and it's time now for Neely to talk Dokken on the Classic Metal Show.
So, you got your purists out there that won't accept anything less than the original lineup.
Well, yeah, no, very true. And sometimes, like I said, so I just went off about Crew, and I thought that Karabi was a great fit. But again, I figured that it seemed like it was doomed from the beginning. But I mean, that didn't necessarily flush out with Sabbath. But people are resistant to change, and I guess it depends on how close it hits to home. Whether or not they care.
Right. All right, the next one on the list, you may or may not be familiar with these guys. Raven, are you a Raven fan at all?
I'm familiar with them in name. That's probably about it.
Well, Raven is in the list at number 5 with The Pack is Back. Raven was building a strong base in the early 80s, but then, like so many bands who wanted to stay employed, they listened to their record company and made this thing, complete with a cover of Spencer Davis Group, Give Me Some Lovin'. You know that song, right?
Yes, I do.
Give me some lovin' every day, right?
Yep.
Let's see how in-depth in your music knowledge you are, Kim. Who was the vocalist for the Spencer Davis Group?
Wow. Actually, off the top of my head right now, sitting here, totally couldn't tell you.
Steve Winwood.
Really?
16-year-old Steve Winwood.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Imagine that. I've learned something.
Do-do-do-do-do, doom, do-do-do-do-do, doom, right?
Yeah, well, see, now ask me about silly, trivial 80s hair bands, and I can, I might be able to stump you, but...
Sure. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Hail and Kill, Neely. Hey, Kim.
Hello.
It's Doghouse.
Doghouse! How are you?
Yes, you and I have emailed a little bit, but we've never actually spoken, so...
Yeah, right? Yeah, exactly. We've had behind-the-scenes emails. That sounds dirty.
Don't go there. Well, as far as this list goes, I think the guy, considering the source that is Yahoo, I think the guy is pretty much hitting the right bases, He hasn't said anything totally egregious yet. Aside from the Motley Crue one, that's really the only glaring thing, and even he admits that it wasn't a bad record. So then why have it on the list?
Yeah, I can definitely think of other albums. Like Tom said, he started rattling, a bunch of bands off. I can definitely think of some albums that I think deserve
your
to be there.
average Yahoo writer isn't going to know who Raven is.
Well, yeah, true.
I mean, Kiss, that is pretty much one that everybody can agree with. Slang, 9 out of 10 people will agree with that one. What was the other one? Sabbath. Nobody really likes that record except for the title track. I mean, so far he's not been that terrible, but I mean, I don't know why he didn't choose Generation Swine. That seems to be the obvious one to me.
Agreed.
Yeah, but it contained Vince Neil, and the only oddball out was, the one that had John Corabi on it.
Now, see, if I was writing this article, I would have done Generation Swine, and I would have said his line about people, it seeming inconceivable not to have Vince Neil, and people were pining for Vince Neil until he came back, is what I would have finished the line with.
Right. Exactly. Well, this guy writing this article basically is, I think, this goes among music fans like yourself and, Chris and myself and even Kim here. This is hot topic that's been bandied about for 20 years. So there's really no groundbreaking information here at all, because I think this is like well-treaded ground here.
Yeah, he's hitting all the obvious choices.
Exactly.
He's picking the low-hanging fruit.
Exactly.
So he Googled a bunch of other articles that were already written and then wrote and just basically rehashed a bunch of stuff that was already out there.
Yeah, but I give him credit for picking the Raven pick.
Right. Well, that is out of the realm of thought process there, because like Tom pointed out, maybe he should have picked a Warrant record or maybe a Poison record or something. But then again, it goes back to, well, can be considered quote unquote heavy metal, because that's what this article is entitled, the worst heavy metal albums of all time.
But for like the AOL and the Yahoo writers, Warrant and Poison are heavy metal.
Sure.
I'm not going to get into that whole pissing match over what constitutes heavy metal. Oh, they're not metal or whatever. But, I mean, if I was writing the article, probably, there's a lot of shitty records out there, but ones that I don't personally own because I know they're bad, so I don't have to buy them.
Right. Exactly.
Like we were talking probably, 6 months ago, talking about something very similar to this topic. It was like most disappointing albums of all time, and you were throwing all this stuff at me, and I was like, I don't know, I wasn't disappointed because I didn't buy it.
Yeah, true.
But, I mean, if I was writing the article, I'd probably say the worst album I ever heard was your friend Frank Ferrer of Guns N' Roses, his old band Honky Toast. Did you ever hear that?
Yes, I did, actually.
Wow, you guys are way over my head right now.
Yeah, they had only one radio-friendly hit, I guess.
Shaking and a Bacon.
That's exactly it.
That's what I bought the CD for, and the other 13 tracks were crap.
Yeah, they sucked.
Ugh, it was like, I thought it was going to be like the second coming of Faster Pussycat.
Well, I thought they were kind of riding the Buck Cherry wave, too.
Yeah, they kind of were. I mean, shit, first time I heard it, I thought it was Faster Pussycat, just the guy's voice.
Sure, I agree with that.
I actually stood in the store and had the Buck Cherry debut in one hand and the Honky Toast in the other hand, and I bought Honky Toast.
Well, like I said, that those two bands almost were simultaneous, and I thought, okay, well, we're riding a new wave here of hard melodic sleaze rock, and Honky Toast was in there for me as well.
Yeah, and a lot of people thought that, I think. And then it turned out New American Shame had the better CD of all.
I love that disc.
Fuck, I still listen to it.
Love that disc.
Yes.
Well, since you brought that up, and after this, we get through this segment here, Doghouse, I would like to play a track from that maybe you would like to hear.
Oh, one that I might like to hear.
Yep.
May I choose it?
Sure.
I'm going to go with my namesake, Doghouse.
All right, well, we'll do that, because I love that.
Actually, I pretty much like all the songs except Skin Up, but, Yeah, Doghouse is good.
All right, well, we'll do that. I love that band. I got to hang out with them when they were on the Megadeth tour, and I was really had high hopes from them, but they were a one and done and very sad. But I will play Doghouse from New American Shame.
Okay, and before we part, I would just want to get in a quick comment about Mr. Ray Rice.
All right, go ahead.
Very good.
Because
Let's hear
I'm
it.
biased. Because I'm biased because I'm a Ravens fan.
All right.
On the one hand, I get it because he wound up and belted the bitch, basically.
So she's a bitch. I think you're a little biased there, Doghouse. She's a bitch.
He teed off on her.
He did. He clocked her.
He didn't just slap her. He didn't shove her. The stuff that regular guys like you and me might get arrested for doing. I mean, he just wound up and wailed on her. So I don't really have a problem with him getting all the flack. What I wish had happened was it happened the first time. And I think the NFL is being a bunch of pussies because they only suspended him. They only suspended him indefinitely. The Ravens only cut him after this video was released to the public.
That is true.
Sure, it never would have come to that.
But what does this all boil down to, Doghouse? And we touched on this a couple of times tonight.
I know you want me to say money, and
It
that's
does.
part of it, but also reputation.
Well, but reputation equals money, though. Without
Yes,
your
reputation is
reputation,
money.
you don't make money, and it all boils down to revenue.
Sure.
So, like I said to Kim earlier, if you're poor and you belt your bitch, as you put it, nobody gives a shit. If it loses you big revenue, now it's a problem.
But this was brewing from the beginning because, when the story broke in February, first it was made to sound as though they were both beating each other up in the casino.
Right.
Okay, then comes May, the first press conference, and he gets a ton of flack he gets up and he apologizes to everybody except his wife. And then his wife gets up and apologizes for her part in it.
Right.
And after he gets that flack, then in July, when the same week the punishment comes down, then he comes up and finally makes a sincere, heartfelt-seeming apology. Only after flack. It's just like with Jerry Sandusky in Penn State. By the way, the Ravens radio announcer is also named Jerry Sandusky, only spelled with a G.
Right.
Penn State covered the whole thing up because they thought it would make them look bad. And guess what? It came out and it made them look even worse.
Well, you almost said it there, Doghouse Jerry with a G. I play the microphone.
Very nice. I'm going to have to retouch Mike's bumper to cut out the Q word.
Right.
I'll just bleep it and then, have him say, Operation Mindcrime.
Exactly.
Sort of like he's like in the middle of an editing session. But anyway, when are people going to fucking learn that rather than cover things up, because in this day and age, everything gets found out.
That is true.
Rather than cover things up, just own up to it right away.
Stop it. You expect people to be accountable for their actions? How dare you?
What can I say? And it's, on the heels of Ray Rice comes Adrian Peterson.
That sounds like a very white guy thing to say there, Doghouse.
What, on the heels?
No, talking about being accountable for your actions.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. I just want to throw this out there right now. Nobody can speak against Adrian Peterson, who has ever complained about the lack of discipline in these youngins, or reminisced about the good old days when Granny would tell you to go get me a switch.
Well, Kim and I kind of covered that at the beginning of the show, that we both admitted that our parents beat our ass for getting out of line, and they never got arrested. And believe me, I don't know Kim that well. We've been acquaintances for a long time, but she's a pretty upstanding person, and I think that I'm a pretty upstanding person. So what does that tell you?
that you should get
Oh, there you go.
you should get your ass beat if you want to be a good person. So there you go. Ray Rice was just trying to make his fiancée a better person.
Yeah, retroactively.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
This is what your father should have done to you, bitch.
Exactly.
Right, Doghouse?
Oh yeah, sure. Hey, well, obviously, as we showed the Squealers Thursday night, we don't need Ray Rice.
Exactly. Beat up on my poor team. They just beat up on him.
Fuck 'em.
Right.
That is all. Continue with this cavalcade of worst metal albums of all time.
All right. Hail and kill.
Fuck you, pal.
Awesome.
And there goes Doghouse. And you were afraid you were going to have a Doghouseless night.
I was afraid. That's awesome. Well, Doghouse and I seem to kind of be like ships passing in the night. I always seem to be around when, wow, that maybe. Well, no, actually, that's disproven now because we've actually been on the air together. So it's Doghouse and I are not the same person.
Right. All right. As I was going about about Raven here, it said that they had done a Spencer Davis Group cover of "Gimme Some Lovin'," which is kind of an odd track to do a quote unquote heavy metal band.
Yeah.
But then again, House of Lords did "Can't Find My Way Home," also featuring Steve Winwood with "Blind Faith."
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right, and that happens to be a favorite song of mine. I enjoy that version of that song. But anyway, getting back to it, because everybody knows you break an underground metal band with a Steve Winwood song. Stay Hard began the descent. This was the band that once headlined over Metallica and Anthrax.
Wow.
But the Pack is back like one of those horrible Sly Stone albums where the title tells the audience, no, really, we don't suck anymore. But sadly they do. So purchase instead Rock Until You Drop, Wipe Out, and some crayons to make a better album cover.
Some crayons. Nice.
Some crayons.
That's a pretty impressive album cover, though.
Yeah, that almost looks like something that Autograph might have done. I was getting a text here from the V. Miss V is in Las Vegas. V for Vegas.
Nice.
Hail
to the V.
She's at an Accept show tonight.
Nice.
I invited her to call in, but she says it's too loud, and she said, I would rather be harassed by you than anything else going on here. So I told her to call in if she wanted to. So.
Nice.
All right. Next album up at number 6, one of your favorites.
In band name, yes, but not, yeah.
Not album
not.
name, but one of your favorite bands.
Yes.
Iron Maiden, Fear of the Dark.
Yeah.
I know our good friend Eric Braverman absolutely despises this album, as do a lot of hardcore Iron Maiden fans. This was the last album that Bruce Dickinson did with them before he departed. And it was like they were out of steam or out of gas at this point. And,
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I will jump on the bandwagon of definitely least favorite Maiden album.
Sure. You really have to worry about a metal band that develops a fear of the dark. What are we, 3 years old? They also developed a fear of writing anything you could remember, unlike the good old days where these guys sounded like they were galloping through the hills ready for war.
Yeah.
Here, they sound like they are galloping in circles trying to find who to blame for this mess. Purchase instead Iron Maiden, Killers, Number of the Beast, Peace of Mind, and a life-size Eddie.
Nice.
Do you have a life-size Eddie, Kim?
I do not. Well, perhaps I do have a really amazing door poster. So, yeah, that lives in my office, actually. I actually had it framed, and it sits in my office, so I get to hang out with Eddie every day.
Nice. Look at you. All right, coming in at number 7, Twisted Sister, Come Out and Play.
Oof.
We talked about Dee Snider tonight rebutting what Gene Simmons had to say about being rock is dead. Well, rock could have very well died when this CD came out. Twisted Sister were one of those bands whose records I would find in the cutout bin while they were still on the album charts. Someone wanted these guys to be huge, so much that they had the band record a cover of Leader of the Pack, which I guess is a step up from the original called Be Cruel to Your School. Boy, that was a terrible, terrible song.
Yeah.
Dock the Point for writing I Believe in Rock and Roll and Don't Sing About It, Fellas. Play some. You could purchase instead Under the Blade, You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, and One Way Ticket to Long Island, Live the Dream.
Yeah, I remember Leader of the Pack. I remember Leader of the Pack probably more for the video than anything. I mean, because that was still, MTV Headbangers Ball.
Sure, absolutely.
And yeah, that's another one where jump the shark.
Exactly. Hail and Kill Caller, you're on the air.
Just a quick one. The somebody who wanted Twisted Sister to be huge on that album was actually Dee himself.
Right. Exactly. But they
according to his book, he was very honest. And looking back, he could just hear the tumblers falling, and sealing Twisted Sister's fate. But he couldn't hear it at the time because he was so full of himself.
Now I can't. Go ahead.
He wanted come out and play to be all things to all people, so he had to try. He had to have a song that would for every possible group of fan, and just it didn't work.
Yeah, he tried to please all of the people all of the time.
And Love Is for Suckers is even worse.
Exactly. Now, did that song "Burn in Hell" that came out before or after?
That's on Stay Hungry, isn't it?
Right. And that was part of that. They were, they had that cameo in that Pee Wee Herman movie, that Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Don't remember that at all.
They were filming the music video for "You Burn in Hell."
A little bit before my time, I reckon.
Okay. That was 1985, I think, or 86, 85.
Twisted Sister, one of those bands like Y&T and Black and Blue, that they were pretty much already old hat by the time I got into metal.
Well, that is true,
89.
because Black and Blue kind of started out around 84.
Yeah. That kind of music that immediately became obsolete the second Appetite for Destruction was released.
Exactly. You're a purist, man.
I don't know. Compared to a lot of metalheads I know, I got pretty diverse taste, but some things even I cannot abide.
Sure. All right.
Hail and kill.
All right. Now, this next one, this one is kind of controversial in some respects, only because of the purist. But, there are some people who are diehards when it comes to this artist, no matter if he's in a band situation or a solo situation. But coming in at number 8, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon.
Wow. Well, another one. I almost have to plead doghouse on this. I was a little young when this came out, so I remember other than Bark at the Moon, I probably couldn't tell you necessarily another song on the album. But I do remember Bark at the Moon.
Sure.
The title track.
Yep. He morphs into that the werewolf guy in the video and stuff. So anyway, there are certain rules to heavy metal that must be observed. The first rule is fire the keyboard player. So when this album came out, synthesizers were very, very huge, and everybody and their brother was using synthesizers.
Wow.
Because a lot of
guitars.
Well, a lot of the new wave bands were being very successful with synthesizers, be it the Eurythmics or the Thompson Twins or In Excess, or who else was using a lot of keyboards. This was between 1983 and 1985. Keyboards were really huge then. Like Soft Cell and Flock of Seagulls, and all those new wave bands were being very successful with keyboards. And some of the harder rock, heavy metal bands of the time were also, integrating keyboards into their music, thinking that that was the ticket to being successful.
So, well, again, it's a case of, I guess, somebody trying to be contemporary and riding the wave of what's hot.
Exactly.
And their fans just not having it.
Exactly. Let him join a progressive rock or pop band where he belongs. Back in the 80s, you could determine a heavy metal album's troubleness by the amount of cheesy synthesizers used. Let's see here. Maybe we need to cut Ozzy some slack here. He did lose his guitar player, Randy Rhoads, but then again, maybe Ozzy should refund me the money I wasted on this album. When in doubt, ask, what would Lemmy do? I wonder who was listening to the Classic Metal Show. Hail and Kill caller, you're on the air.
Now, I think the guy's off base. Sorry to keep monopolizing.
That's all right. Go ahead.
I think the guy's off base. If you're going to pick an Ozzy album to put on this, I would choose... I can't even think of the title of it. It's the one that has God damn it. It's the one that came out in 2001.
2000.
You're not the kind of person you think I am. You know the one?
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
not the Antichrist or the Iron Man. That one.
Right.
Yeah, it's coming back to me now.
Because when you start the album with that statement, and you're supposed to be the fucking Prince of Darkness, that completed Ozzy's transformation into.
Was it Down to Earth?
Yes, that's the one.
Down to Earth.
Now, see, even that dumb title. Who wants an Ozzy album called Down to Earth?
Right.
That completes his transformation to Teddy Bear Ozzy.
Exactly.
I mean, we saw hints of it on No More Tears when he said he was going to quit, and he was, kind of regretting some of the things that had been done in his name, that some of the things that he'd come to represent, and he was going to retire, and he was an old guy, and he wanted to spend time with his family. Then Osmosis, he had a song for his daughter, and really kind of a weird, weak-sounding album, too.
Sure.
But here in 2001, along comes Down to Earth, and he's got this TV show in the works. I'm sure it was even in the works at that point.
Right.
And he's got this record that even, you remember Zach bitching at the time about how the songs were all written. And
they were already pre-written, and he didn't have any input on it at all, and
except for his solos.
And he worked with. Did he work with like Dave Grohl or something?
Yeah, Dave Grohl and the guy from The Offspring.
Yeah.
Nothing's, that just screams metal, doesn't it?
Sure.
So I would take Bark at the Moon any day over Down to Earth, or even Osmosis, really, for that matter.
Right.
So I think the guy's off base there.
Yeah. You know what? I think that he's kind of centering himself in a lot of the 80s, obviously.
Maybe he hasn't actually listened to any album since '92.
Oh, that could be the case as well. I mean, he could be a guy that stopped listening to music probably like prior to 2000.
That's Chuck Klosterman's Fargo Rock City.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's really the one beef I have with that book, is that he kind of acts like he outgrew metal, and he really doesn't know a whole lot after say '92.
Well, there could be some truth to that. It's just like, all right, I'm out of that phase now. I'm on to something, more mature.
Even as he spent the whole book, I mean, the whole point of the book was him professing his love for metal and defending it, right? But
right.
Even then, he had to knock it and act like it was just something from his teenage years that he loved then, and he has fond memories of, but he's over it now, and now I don't even know what the fuck the guy listens to now.
Yeah, well, he was a journalist in Akron, Ohio, there for a few years. When I was living there, and he moved on to the New York Times. And
you don't move on to the New York Times still listening to Junkyard.
That is true. But he did write up a whole article on our good friend Rockin' Randy, though. Well,
that ought to be good for something, right?
Yeah.
Rockin' Randy's moments of fame, and that's actually collected in a book of his called,
That is.
I think it's in Chuck Klosterman 4, isn't it?
It's something about Cocoa Puffs or something.
Oh, sex, drugs, and Cocoa Puffs.
That's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in that. It's actually an excerpt in that.
Yeah, I have his books, but I couldn't, they're all kind of interchangeable. They're
Sure.
kind of like Dave Barry's books. They're just a collection of his columns.
Right.
Now, did you ever have Chuck Klosterman on the show?
I've actually reached out to him on a couple of occasions and tried to get him on the show, but he's never responded back.
Oh, well, fuck him.
Yeah, exactly.
See, he's too good for that.
Apparently he is.
He probably listens to Erasure.
or Radiohead.
Yeah, that too. Arctic Monkeys.
Exactly.
Fuck him.
He's avant-garde. The real Jeff Tate might have something in common with him.
He might, in fact. Food for thought.
Exactly. Pass that on to him if you see or talk to him again.
I will try to put the bug in his ear.
Oh, excellent.
That sounded kind of dirty, didn't it?
Right.
Bug in his ear.
Yep, absolutely.
Yuck. Fuck you, pal.
And there goes Doghouse. All right, we're almost wrapped up with this one here. So anyway, Ozzy comes in at number 8. At number 9, drum roll please, we have Guns N' Roses' Chinese Democracy.
Again, I can kind of plead Doghouse on this. It's an album that I never purchased.
Right.
I've never listened to on purpose.
On purpose.
On purpose.
Anyone who tells you that this album was worth the wait, we're talking 13 years here.
Yeah, I think he pretty much doomed himself right there. 13 years for an album. It's just, nope.
Yeah, is likely still under contract with W. Axl Rose or trying to justify paying real money for it. After taking a century's worth of work, the album was about what you'd expect from Guns N' Roses with no Slash, no Izzy, no Duff. If you enjoy this, you probably thought Civil War needed some more piano.
Nice.
Purchase instead Appetite for Destruction and Anger Management courses.
Who doesn't own Appetite for Destruction?
Yeah, that is like an awesome album. And coming in at number 10, something that Chris and I discussed, I believe, a week ago.
Yes.
We had this discussion, actually. Metallica, Load and Reload, and Saint Anger. So they threw all three of those into the mix.
Yeah, triple threat.
Exactly. The band that defined metal for a new generation of fans sounded confused for local and its baby brother Reload, or Load and Reload, and what does it say? Tinny and
Yes.
Constipated for Saint Anger. It almost makes you like the album they made with the orchestra.
Oh.
Purchase instead Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice for All, and some kind of monster to help things become clear.
Well, I think there's definitely two, very divided camps on this. I mean, it does sound almost like he is falling back to, everything, once after Injustice for All, everything sucked. And, I'm actually more on that side. I am more the old school than I am the new school. I am actually not a fan of Load or Reload or Saint Anger. I did, what did I get? What's the last one that...
Death Magnetic?
Yeah, so I did buy Death Magnetic, and I dug it, kind of, but I actually did, what he's saying about the tinny on Saint Anger, I actually found that on a little on Death Magnetic as well. So, but I think you definitely love that, you definitely love that series of albums, or you hate them. It's kind of, you don't tend to find too many people that are on the fence.
Yeah, it's definitely love or hate. And, I personally was not a fan of any of those albums.
Yeah.
Not at all. And I wasn't even all that big of a fan of Death Magnetic. I mean, Chris was a huge fan of that. He professed that last week that he dug that a lot. I mean, it was okay.
There's a couple tunes on there. I think All Nightmare Long is probably my favorite. But, yeah, beyond that, I mean, a lot of them kind of sounded the same. They didn't, they did have that really driving, heavy, angry feel, but I wasn't on board with more than a couple of the songs.
Sure. Well, anyway, that wraps up the 10 worst heavy metal albums, if you will. Again, it's all subjective, and it really didn't really stretch the boundaries at all, in my opinion. But I just thought it would be something kind of fun to talk about.
Yeah, it definitely. I don't think it definitely didn't break any new ground, or it's not. He certainly didn't go out of a comfort zone that most other people that have written, that have written it. He went with very safe choices.
I agree with that. So anyway, well, speaking of Metallica, there was a album out. It was what was this called? Metals. Let's see. These are cover songs of metal songs, and this was a very appropriate cover for Chuck Billy of Testament. Are you a Testament fan?
I am a Testament fan.
He does the song of Metallica, "Seek and Destroy," which, in my opinion, this cover blows away the original. And I know there's the diehards out there that would argue with this, but I absolutely love this release, or this actual song, this cover song, and I'm going to play it right now. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to play a couple tunes. I promised Doghouse I'd play his tune from New American Shame, Doghouse, but wanted to end this since they talked about Metallica. This is Chuck Billy from Testament doing some Metallica "Seek and Destroy" exclusively here
on your classic metal show.